Hello, coaches. My name is Elias Scultori, and in this video, I share with you a coaching demonstration I gave at one of our learning labs at Prime Coaching Academy. What is interesting about this coaching demonstration is that I am coaching a student. And this student brings to the coaching conversation the topic around coaching skills. And I would like for you to pay attention that even though the topic itself is around coaching skills, I stay in the role of a coach. There is no mentor coaching or skills development specifically. I don't turn into the position of a trainer, even though I am the trainer of this particular course. I stay in the role of a coach because the agreement that I had with the student was that we were going to have a coaching session and a coaching conversation. There is no attempt to go into business development, skills development, mentor coaching. I stay in the role of a coach, and we stay in this space of a reflective practice, utilizing the framework of the coaching conversation to support this particular student in the quest and the exploration that she's doing around this particular topic. And it's fascinating to see what happens in the development of this conversation. A couple of things for you to keep in mind is that this is a level 1 learning lab. And my objective in this coaching demonstration is to showcase to the students the foundational aspects of the coaching framework that they learned during our intensives. So you may not see a full-fledged MCC coaching session here because that was not the purpose for this particular coaching session, but you will be able to see very clearly the framework, the arch of the coaching conversation. After the session is over, there is this debrief that we go through with the whole class. And I kept this part of the video intact for you so that you can witness the insights that the students are generating for themselves and how they are supporting each other in the learning and about witnessing this particular coaching conversation. I thought it would be also an opportunity for you to witness how Amy and I handle our learning labs as well. During the coaching session, I'm going to put some captions on the bottom of the screen that will highlight the specific coaching skills that I'm utilizing in that particular moment. And I hope that will support you in accompanying the skills and the development and the framework of the coaching conversation. Some of these terms that I'm going to use come directly from my Prime model. If you are not familiar with my Prime model, it is a tool that I created to support my students in capturing and absorbing the essence of the ICF core competencies only in one snapshot. So it's a fascinating process as well. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Enjoy the video, and I hope that this will support you in your coaching development. So we are recording now. Today is October 8th, 2024, and I will be coaching Casey for now. And before we get into coaching, Casey, I just want to recognize that we are recording this session. Thank you for allowing me to record this session for training purposes. So if there are a possibility to share this with other coaches so they can have a sample of a coaching recording.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much. So Casey, what are we going to talk about here today during these next 20 minutes?
Well, I had two practice coaching sessions prior to this call with two of my practice clients. And I found myself getting in my head again. And I really want to work on refocusing myself so that I can be present for these conversations and become a better coach.
Thank you for your commitment. I love it.
That's what's popping up today, just because it's recent. I got off my most recent one about 30 minutes ago, and I just thought to myself, okay, I could have improved so much. And the reason why it popped up is because I felt so connected and so intensely confident at the end of our intensive last week. I don't want to lose that. I just want to keep that and keep going with it.
Okay. And what was different today from the presence that you felt before?
I could feel myself thinking of questions to ask as opposed to sitting and listening and breathing and being present with the person across from me. And maybe part of it was they were both recorded, and I know I'm going to go through mentor coaching. And so part of that came up, which I always think back and I just think to myself, okay, every single time you get nervous about something, you always end up worse off than if you were just to be calm and present and allow things to happen the way that they should. It always pays off. So that's where I'm just kicking myself a little bit today.
So a lot of pressure.
Pressure. Good word.
And that throws you off.
Yes. Yes.
So for these 20 minutes that we are going to have here, what is the optimal outcome for our conversation?
So I want to have some sort of practice, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes before every coaching call, where I can remind myself who I am going to be in this call, how I'm going to show up for this person, regardless of anything else going on, regardless of if it's recorded, regardless of the pressure, regardless of if I feel tired or if I hear my kids in the background. How am I going to show up? So maybe just talking through getting myself in the coaching mindset, however long it takes before I jump on all of my coaching calls, would be something really good to walk away with today.
So I heard that almost like you already have an action that you want to do, like you want to have that 10 minutes before each coaching session. But what I got here, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you want to understand a little bit more, be a little bit more clear about the coaching mindset that you want to set up for yourself during those 10 minutes. Am I reading this correctly?
Yes. And how I get myself in that mindset before I jump on a call.
I get it. So knowing how you're going to put yourself in that mindset.
Yes.
You're looking for.
Yes. Almost like a habit. This is what I need to do to be sure I'm showing up well. I'll be sure I'm in the coaching mindset. Be sure all distractions are put aside before I walk into that call.
Casey, I am really impressed by your commitment to this process and how you're giving yourself to this. So thank you for this. Why is this so important?
Because I really think I could be good at it. I really do. I really think I could be very good at it. And I'm the only one in my way 99% of the time, where I don't want to think back to 30 minutes ago saying, okay, this is what I should or could have done differently. And I'm always somebody that's open for improvement, but I want to feel proud. And I want to feel like I am being authentic. I want to feel like this is the natural process that it is for me, or that it can be. And I want to give the gift that I really feel like I have inside to others. And if I feel like I'm responsibly and authentically giving this gift, then I will feel fulfilled and happy and aligned as well.
The word that jumped out for me was authentic.
Mm-hmm.
What does authentic mean? Well, let me rephrase that question. How do you know when you are being authentic?
I feel relaxed. I think that's I feel peaceful. I feel that's really how I can best describe it. I was thinking in my head just now about what I don't feel or what I feel when I'm not being authentic, which is higher heart rate, breathing, looking around, all of those things where I get out of breath when I'm trying to talk. And that's just not because I'm pregnant, but just because I'm at a higher level. But I'm much more confident when I'm authentic.
So confidence and authenticity come hand in hand.
Yes, 100%. I think that's a good question now that I'm thinking about it. They should come hand in hand, and maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe that's a little key, is feeling confident enough to be authentic in these conversations, feeling confident enough in my practice, in who I naturally am as a coach, the wisdom I can bring. And then I think to myself, okay, is that enough? I don't know. But that's what's coming to mind, I think.
Okay. It's interesting because like when I asked you the question, what makes this important for you? You said, I believe that I can do this and I can do this well.
Yeah, I do.
So you're confident about that.
I am. Yes.
So where is the disconnect?
The disconnect is feeling confident in the way I show up, maybe. Getting myself, I don't want to be lazy about my mindset. I don't want to be lazy about showing up for my client and thinking I can just go with the flow. I feel confident when I feel practiced, but at the same time, if I overdo it, I fail because it's inauthentic. So just writing that line and where can I find the balance of feeling like I know my stuff, I feel confident enough to walk into this conversation with the mindset that I'm in, without feeling like I need to look at notes or anything like that, that puts me on the overdue side of things.
And I appreciate that you're new to this, so there is that experimentation of the newness, right? But you mentioned the word lazy. Where in this whole process since you started have you been lazy?
Maybe lazy is not the word.
Okay. So what is the word?
Focused.
Okay. So where in this process have you not been focused?
There have been times walking into calls or sessions where I've allowed other distractions to influence the way that I feel. And then frankly, just being 30 weeks pregnant, I just feel tired. So I don't just feeling almost like like the pregnancy brain has popped in a couple of times and not really doing anything to fix that before I walk into a conversation. That's one of the biggest things that's happened a few times, that I just think to myself, okay, how am I going to how am I going to snap myself out of this? Is maybe the physical load, very large load, that's going on right now. And so when things like that pop up, so let's just say I just feel physically tired, pregnant or not, let's just say tired, or I hear one of my kids crying out there, or I saw a note that popped in, or I'm hungry, I don't know, anything. What can I do to focus myself to say, okay, this is not important now. What are like my 3 triggers that I can say, or I don't know if the word's triggers, I don't know what the word is, but my 3 reminders that can put me back into that mindset and get rid of the other things that might be affecting me.
It's interesting that I'm assuming that all of this is around the coaching session that you're going to be with your client.
Yes.
And it's interesting that the whole thought process that you described over there is around you.
That is interesting. And Elias, I actually thought to myself today after I wrapped up my second session, which actually I thought went very well today, but there were ways that I could have improved. I just thought to myself, the way that I felt, and I think it was Chris, I forget who said this, but the way that I felt as a client in our practice coaching sessions, where the coaches probably felt the same way I do, which is thinking in their head, am I asking the right question, or where am I going to take this part of the conversation, or I hear something over here and I get a little distracted. But I didn't feel that as a client. So that is popping up in my mind as well, is maybe, how did my client feel? And so that is a good thing for me to think about and refocus where all my thoughts are going. Because you're right, they're all going back on myself, when really I need to think about, how is the client?
And when you think about your client, what happens to your focus?
It shifted away, and I do feel the confidence and the peace that I have been looking for. Like one of my clients, she was very vulnerable on the call with me today, and she wanted so badly to change a meeting, that she was the lowest level involved in the meeting. She wanted to change a meeting. She didn't feel like she had the confidence to do it because she was the lowest level, to change the time. And the reason she wanted to change the time is because every Thursday, she picks up her son at 1:55, between 1:55 and 2:10 every day. And the meeting's at 2:00. And so every time she goes to pick up her son, she feels herself just boiling inside, because she can't pay attention to her 4-year-old son while he's upset because mom's not listening to him. And she's on this stupid call that she doesn't want to be on while that's happening. And she said, when we went through a session today, we uncovered some of the cool reasons why she could have the confidence to do this, to say, this just doesn't work for me. It's 15 minutes of my day that I'm going to dedicate to my son. So she reached out to those people today. She said she was going to do it, and she did. And they moved the meeting back 30 minutes. It was the easiest thing ever. So when she told me that, she texted me afterwards, I just thought to myself, oh, good for you. I'm glad I'm glad I had a little hand in that. We made it easy for you, and now your life has changed on Thursdays. So that made me feel really good.
It seems that you were very effective.
Maybe with that piece, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me feel good.
Okay, so we're about to close our time here today. We just have a few more minutes. What are the insights that you've had during our conversation?
The biggest one is honestly getting me to refocus on how the client feels. Instead of getting in my head about maybe I should have gone a different direction or what questions I should have asked or was this too much silence or anything like that. I think of the impact I might have had on both of my clients today, and that really changes my perspective.
Thank you for that. So how is that insight going to impact those 10 minutes that you said you wanted to take before each call?
I feel so happy. Elias, I feel so happy right now because honestly, this changed a lot of things right now because going into a meeting or a session with a client, my simple question I want to ask is, how do I want my client to feel? That's what I'm going to ask myself. And then right now, I automatically just feel peace and happiness from asking myself that one question.
What's going to support you? Remember that.
I'm going to write it on a little sticky note that I have on my computer, that on OneNote, they have the sticky notes, and I'm just going to pop it up there. And the question is just going to be, how do I want my client to feel today? And it's just going to stay there.
Okay, see, it's inspiring to see how, I guess the word again is committed that you are through this process and the experimentation, the investment that you're putting in all of this. I am inspired by you. Thank you.
Thank you. What a really beautiful revelation. Thank you.
Yeah. Is this a good place for us to pause here for now?
It is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's open up this camera to everybody, and I'm going to remove the spotlight. Let's debrief. So what did you hear? What did you notice, everybody?
I liked how sorry, Megan. I like how you caught on to this word lazy that Casey used and probed a little bit deeper to explore if that really was a descriptor to her feeling or trying to figure out why that was. It's probably my favorite thing. And because I think that caused a shift in the whole mindset to, wait, I'm not really being lazy. I'm just more in my own head, and I am present for the customer or the client or whatever.
Yeah. So really picking up on the client's language and then just opening up. What does that mean? When have you been lazy? What is lazy about? Whatever, right? And that supports the client in saying, oh, is that true? Yes, it is true. Let me investigate here. Or no, maybe it's something else. That alone opens up the horizon for the client.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. What else?
I loved your affirmations that you gave to her. It was very genuine, and also your body language, your smile when you were excited for her, and I just really loved it. And it was a genuine conversation, which you were able to weave in what we know you're supposed to ask, and it was just it was great. It's what I hope to attain. And Casey, I feel the same way as you do, so I really empathize with you. I could have been that same voice. So congratulations on your call, first of all, also.
Thank you. Thank you.
You did amazing work today. So you should be proud.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would layer on what Megan said. I feel like the process can feel robotic because we're so focused on the process. But when you weave in the conversation part of it, I think was really great to see. It just changes the feel of the conversation of the whole session. And I think I forget that.
Coaching is a conversation. We are having a conversation with the client. The points of the prime model and the core competencies are there just to give the anchor, the framework for this conversation to be truly effective. That's the goal. But I'm here primarily with Casey. That's my primary goal. And I use what I have learned and all my experience and all of these best practices to support her. The moment that we are doing the prime model or the core competencies because we were told so, then we are there for the framework, not for the client. We are there for the client, but we know that these points are really helpful. So let me introduce this in service of the client.
Yeah, the other observation was, and I get caught up on this too soon, but like the focus part of it, you let her talk for a while until you actually went for what's the outcome then? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm always looking for the outcome. Oh, she said it, got it. But you just kind of, it took you 3 to 5 minutes, and what do you want to talk? And she just talked, and then you're like, okay, what would be an outcome so you know what I'm saying? Like, it was really cool to see. I don't know if anybody else feels that way either, but like always trying to just get it going and get after it. So.
If we go directly into what is the outcome, what is the evidence, what is the meaning, the client will not know how to answer those questions, or they are going to answer those questions just because.
Mm-hmm.
And then the answer is not really solid. We need to allow the client to situate in that particular situation, to be there, and so that they can, oh yeah, I'm here. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Right. So that's why I say to establish the focus is as long as it takes, as soon as possible. Because the danger here in allowing the client to get situated, that half of the session, 3/4 of the session is gone, and we still haven't established a session agreement, right? So it's a balancing act, and that's paying attention.
Are you ever like redirecting? Because like you could ask the question. I know that we're not supposed to direct the conversation, but when you say, what do you want to talk about today? People could start just laundry listing out their whole problem, right? And so are there strategies or like ways that you kind of get them to focus on what are we trying to accomplish today in this 30 minutes that we have? Like, wow, Elias, sounds like you listed out a ton of things that we could talk about. Let's just pick. I mean, are you guiding them in that way, or is that leading them?
Yeah, I wouldn't say let's do this. When we do let's do this, you're kind of
I'm direct. Yeah, I'm doing
directing.
something.
But I would ask the client, you list quite a few things over there. What is possible for us to achieve here in 20 minutes? Let the client decide. Maybe the client can take care of the whole list.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go. I'm skeptical, but you said so. I'm with you. Right? And then if at the end the client realizes that you didn't cover everything, you just acknowledge it. It seems that we weren't able to cover the whole list here. What were we able to achieve? And then that is already the recap. And that's okay.
Got it.
So what else? What else did we hear?
And Chris spoke about this a little bit, but it was so unhurried and relaxed in terms of the energy that you were bringing to the conversation, but we still got somewhere really powerful. We which I find still sort of hard to believe all of those things can be true. Yeah, that's what I'd say about that.
So Spencer and everybody here, what happened in this session that we were able to achieve something in 20 minutes?
Well, I think you did. There was a mix of affirmation, challenging, like exploration, and there's something about that mix I think is important. And you didn't have to say all that much because the key things that needed to be explored were you were able to explore them. Or I guess, Casey was able to explore them. The client does the work. But just the direction of the conversation, it seemed to get exactly where it needed to go. And it's still not clear to me exactly how that works.
You gave her a huge space, I think, to just go for it. And she had to talk it out, which I obviously understand. But you just were there and present as she was talking through things. And your body language, you didn't necessarily say, but you were like nodding and smiling. And so you just gave her the safe space to explore and allowed her to take the time to think. And you could see her thinking. So you were picking up on cues on her that she was really trying to work hard to think through it too. So I think it was kind of both of those.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. When she was saying, it's more of a personal question for you, Elias. Like when she was saying, I just want a way or ways to prepare myself before the call. Like immediately I'm already thinking like, what could some of those solutions be, which would end up it would cause me to probably lead her. But what's going through your brain when she says that? Because I was like, okay, maybe Post-it notes, maybe a motivational saying, maybe it's looking in the mirror saying, you got this, girl. And then like whatever it is, or are you just not even thinking about any type of like solutions? You're just waiting? Like you're willing to trust the process? I mean, realistically, don't tell me the truth.
Chris, I'm going to pick on you again.
What's the question?
Yes.
What's going through your brain when she says, I want ways to prepare myself for a call? What's going through?
That's the question. Love it. I'll answer that question. But I will tell you exactly what came up because I remember clearly what came up in my mind when that all happened. What came up in my mind was, right now I am a coach. I'm not a trainer. That is what came up in my mind in that moment. I'm here to be a coach. Because I could go into training and talking a lot about strategies and what coaches do and what are best practices and what I have seen with my mentees. I could have gone all the way there, but in my mind, immediately I said to myself, you're not a trainer, you're a coach. So as a coach, I don't know what the solution is, like getting focused. Focused is something so personal. Mm-hmm. Let Casey discover that. And so that's what was going through my mind. No thoughts, no idea. I think that immediately when I said I'm the coach and not the trainer, all of that went irrelevant.
Thank you.
Do you ever morph between the two?
All the time. Especially
like maybe like in a session, I'm not gonna, like if we're in a coaching session, but then we close that session out, is there like now we're putting a different hat on, and I'm saying, hey, these are some things, like I totally appreciate where you got to today, but here's something. Now are you providing like food for the continued growth of the individual?
So Mark, I'm gonna pick on you.
That's fine. I know once you go on mute, you might get it, so it's all good.
Chris is like,
Go get him.
Excited.
Go get him. Get him.
Like, go.
so Mark, what is the question?
Is it okay to provide forward movement or a support system at the end of coaching of your session that might be beneficial to the relationship?
Yes.
Are you saying that so that because I have a closed-ended question? Yes.
How do you do that, Elias?
Yeah, I guess what's the way that you're switching hats and not violating the coaching role in a relationship and an agreement that you have with somebody while still providing value?
Beautiful. So let me answer that question. And thank you for allowing me to pick on you, Mark.
Love it. You pick on me all day long.
So when I am a coach, and I am like today working with Casey, I was in the role of the coach. So I'm very clear that I am the coach, and then my thoughts and ideas are not important. But oftentimes when I am a mentor coach, when I'm mentor coaching clients, then I am also in the role of a mentor. So sometimes the sharing information is a little. I'm still committed to sharing with a mentor coaching mindset, but the sharing becomes a little bit more. There is a little bit more sharing than just asking questions. I rarely do the whole idea of I'm just coaching, and now after the coaching session, now I'm going to tell you what to do. I don't think that that's genuine. I think that there is a way, like for example, even in this conversation with Casey, what was the question that I asked? It was around. I made a comment. It seems that you are very focused on you, not your client. I was sending her a very clear message right there. Right? But I simply stated it. I didn't say, Casey, you need to think about your client, not you. I just made a statement. It seems that you are putting your focus on yourself, not your client. And I dropped that for her. And she was able to say, oh yeah, let me put the focus on my client, right? What is the client's experience? And then I asked her, when you put your focus on your client, what happens to your focus? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's gone. I'm breathing deeper, right? So I had a very specific message to her, but how I sent the message, I didn't put myself in the spotlight. I know what you have to do. I just made an observation.
So it's okay to do that.
100%.
Like if you feel like you know something that'll help them, it's okay to, as long as it's not bias or messed up image or.
We need to be careful, and we will talk much more about this in level 2. So for now, in level 1, I highly encourage you to hold that back, because we are so trained to having the answer, to solving the problem, right? So I would encourage you to keep that at bay for now. But there is a place where, and we call the skill of sharing information. We have a whole module on level 2 about sharing information. Perhaps we have something that we know, a book that we've read, or something that I read a book about that the other day. There are ways to do that, but we need to be very mindful that when we do that, we are not putting ourselves in the spotlight, that this is not about me, what I know. We are not creating dependency of the client on our ideas. We are keeping the client independent in their thoughts and ideas. This is the coaching mindset, is developing the client into their own thought process. The moment that we give our ideas, they are dependent on us. That's not helpful.
So how often, Elias, do you only coach versus maybe do mentoring or consulting, or I don't even know what all the other ones are, but whatever.
Yeah, half and half. Half of my practice is coaching only. Half of my practice is mentoring, training, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
As a client, Elias, for those 20 minutes, the transformative nature of not solutioning for 10 minutes before a call to where is the shift in my mindset just as an individual was so powerful. That's my first statement. My question is, how long did it take you to get there in your coaching practice?
To get there where?
To get to feeling comfortable and confident in trusting the process that we will get to a transformative coaching session versus a solution-oriented, surface-level session.
The solution, I would say, very, very early. I don't know exactly, because it became very apparent to me that it's not worth it.
Yes.
It's a waste of energy. And I remember very clearly at the beginning of my coaching practice, when I had a thought and I would give it to the client, have you thought about this? And it was always like, oh yeah, I have done that. No, it doesn't work. And then I would come up with something. Oh yeah, I know. And I was like, I'm wasting our time here. With trying to brainstorm and find a solution. So I let go of that very quickly. Confidence, it's a daily dose that I take every day. Even before this session, like here, I'm the trainer. I'm the one telling you guys all of these rules, and I'm coming now to demonstrate. Am I going to be able to do this? Right. The thought crosses my mind, but at the same time, I think that I get to that place of I believe in this. I've seen it work. So let me just resign myself to these things that I talk about every day. And Casey, you are a brilliant person. So what am I to worry about? As I said at the beginning, we're just going to have a conversation. Let's see where we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's huge, because I think, Casey, the whole thing is we all are wanting to make sure we're adding value to our clients, that we're making a difference. And I think your lazy comment is I have the same kind of thoughts, because I'm like, oh, unless I'm really working hard, because when he was like, no, you don't need to take notes. No, you don't need to follow up. You don't need, that's all on the client. I was like, whoa, that's totally mind blowing, because I'm not working hard, right? But then I'm like, wait a minute, I am working hard in the meeting, just trying to focus on them to figure out the right questions to ask and when to shut up. So that's the way I'm trying to justify it in my head, because I have this work ethic that unless I feel like I'm working hard, I feel guilty that I'm going to be paid to do that, right? So anyway, I don't know if that helps.
If I was not working hard, I would not have listened to lazy. In order for me to listen to lazy, I need to trust. I need to not be taking notes. I need to not be worried about. I need to be there with Casey. And then these words, these points, they pop out. And it's just like, oh, you said that. And it was not just lazy. There were a couple of other words, Casey, that you mentioned, and I asked about it. I think authenticity, and then authenticity and confidence, right? All of the, like, if I'm not here, if I'm concerned with performing, if I'm concerned with value, I'm not going to pay attention to these things. And it's real with me, especially in this session here, it's 100% trusting Casey. You know, those moments, if you listen to the recording later on, those moments when Casey spoke and then she stopped and I didn't do anything. It's on you. And then she continued, right? Like, I refuse to put the pressure that I have to go and arrange it and take care of it. I don't need to. Casey is brilliant. She will find her way around it.
How did you first learn to do that, though? I mean, because you're like putting all your trust in this process that you're going to get somewhere. I mean, that's a lot. That's like huge, right?
Yeah. I think that I learned this by, because of my trainers telling me these things, and okay, they must know what they're talking about. So let me try.
Yeah.
And also because it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Right? Like sometimes people are, especially nowadays in the coaching industry, I'm all for research and evidence-based. I'm all about that. But there is also the point that critical thinking, like when we think about these concepts, yeah, I love that the evidence is coming to support what we are doing. But if we think about it, there is a logic behind it. This is about the client's development. If I interfere, I am doing exactly the opposite. I'm not allowing them to grow.
I actually explained that to my son, and now he's using it against me. He's like, "Mom, you're supposed to be the coach here, not telling me what to do." I'm like, you're right. Okay.
You're the parent, though.
Yes, there is that moment, right? There is that place, like it just happens that you're my son and you're still growing and I'm the mom.
Well, he is in college and I'm trying to learn to let go. So,
yes.
he is 59 years old and I'm trying to let him let go. No, I'm teasing.
So let me ask you one more question here. How was the framework of the coaching conversation? What did you notice?
It felt very fluid, if that's the right word that I'm thinking of. I think it didn't feel like it was step 1 complete. Step 2, we've engaged into step 2, and now we're in step 3. Obviously, like I wrote a note that I liked how you started it off with, like, we have 20 minutes. What did you want to talk about? You frame it. You framed the start point, end point. And then you went through, and then we got the focus that morphed in the discovery to finding out probably something deeper than was initially brought. But then at the end, you have 3 minutes left or so. Like, how do we, and it was just, but it didn't feel like it was checkbox. And I feel like naturally inside, that's what I'm thinking all the time to try to move people through. Okay, boom, we have the focus. Great. Now we're moving to discovery of tell me more about this thing that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yet, I'm pretty sure that I hope that you were all able to identify that all of the steps were there.
For sure.
Right? That is what we're looking for.
I'm thinking of calling you Master Yoda. You just like weaved it through there. It was so natural. It's just, you are the master at it. And I'm like, man, I just hope I can get there one day. It was just amazing.
You're going to get there sooner than you think. And here, this is the job of the coach. This is why they are paying us the big bucks, right? It's for us to create a space, a framework that supports them. So right from the start, I was like, we have 20 minutes. What do you want to talk about? I'm already creating very specific parameters for Casey. Okay, okay, we are going to talk about this topic. What is the expected outcome here? I am already creating very specific. So it's a balancing act. It's not that coaching is just like, okay, I'm just going to ask questions. No, we are creating the container, and that is our responsibility. That is what the training is about, to create a proper container for Casey to do the work. Make sense?
Does.
So now it's your turn, okay? Beginning Thursday, and Amy will set up the schedule. Who is coaching what? And it's your turn to bring that. I highly encourage you, trust the client, trust the framework. Just play with it. And it may feel clunky. It may not be as smooth, but that's the practice, right? The more you practice, look, it's 20 years over here, right? So it takes some time. It's not going to take 20 years, but like you practice, right? Did I have all of this to get put together 20 years ago? Well, first of all, the framework was not there yet, but as clear. There was a framework, but not as clear as we have now. So you're in a good place. But if you come, we always say trust the process, trust the framework, trust the client, trust ourselves, and then go and have this beautiful moment, create this beautiful moment, connecting human to human. I always say, like, when two human beings come together with this level of interaction, there is not a chance that something brilliant is going to come out of the conversation. Maybe it's simple, maybe it's small, but it has to be, because human beings are brilliant. So when two human beings come together, something really magical has to happen, right? Don't give when I say magical, it's not that it's going to be, oh my gosh, this big revelation, right? Something, a spark is going to happen. So trust that and put yourself in that space, build that partnership, and you're going to be great. What else do we need to say here before we go today?
Thanks for sharing, Casey.
Sounds
Thank
like
you
you
for
did
listening.
a fantastic job, Casey, with your client. And I mean, especially as a mom, I totally understand how that whole situation was for that woman, and you made a huge difference. So thanks for giving her the space to have the courage to speak up.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And thank you for volunteering to be the client today. I hope it wasn't too painful.
Well, I do want to say one thing. The reason I didn't volunteer right away is because I just thought to myself, I don't know what I could be coached on today in 20 minutes. And that was lingering in the back of my mind, is the way that I felt after my 2 coaching sessions. And then I had no idea where it was going to go. It was so transformative. So thank you, Elias. It truly was masterful. Thank you.
My huge pleasure. I have to share one little secret with all of you here now that we are at the end of the session. There is a hurricane coming my way, and this is on top of my mind. The 5 minutes before session, I was freaking out, to tell you the truth, because I decided to just stay here. I'm in a no flood, no evacuation zone, and so I feel safe. But a friend of mine who lived through Katrina called me and said, get out. So all of a sudden I got a little freaked out. And when I have to say, when I clicked on the class, on the link, I was like, how in the world am I going to do this session here with all that's going on in the background? But, and I'm sharing this to you and even to you, Casey, based on your coaching conversation as well. Once we focus on the client, once we are able to, I'm here for you, right? At least for me, all of a sudden, all that is happening in the background is gone. And truly, I've spent here an hour with all of you, didn't think about this storm for a second, right?
Wow.
So this is another thing, and now I'm a trainer here for you, Casey, and for all of you. Focus on the client. Focus on the client, and then all of a sudden, everything that is happening, because we have lives, and things are going to be chaotic. And how many times I came here to have a coaching session with my client, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the house is on fire. Not literally, right? But all of a sudden, it's I'm here. Right? And then that dissipates somehow. Just a thought there for you to play, all of you to play with.
I'm impressed.
Thank you so much, everyone. Be safe, be well. Amy is going to be here on Thursday. And if you have any questions that I can support you with, you know where to find me.
Make sure you reach out to us to let us know you're good too, please.
I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Prayers to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
See you, everybody.
Thank you.